So I love reading your comments to my videos. I really do. I especially welcome your emails and your voicemails. All my contact info is in the description of this video down below. Now, for those who are watching on a TV set, my email is on the screen right now, obviously, rvwingman@gmail.com, rvwingman@gmail.com, and my 24-hour voicemail number is 1330-WINGMAN. If you don't want to spell it out, it's 1-330-946-4626. I do look forward to hearing from you. Now, today's video, we seem to be hearing a lot about some of the big lemon RV cases, and yes, they are real nightmares. But the fact is that the majority of RV problems in terms of things breaking down and causing fits for their owners are on towables that cost less than 40 or 50 grand. And the less they cost, the more issues the owners have. Make sense? So what do you do? What do you do if you have a unit with problems, but they're just not big enough for a lawyer like Ron Burdge to take on? Well, listen up. Before you throw in the towel, here's some great information I think you need to consider. When you and I spoke last time, Ron, you gave me an example of a case that somebody had submitted their information to you through your website, and you thought that it looked really good, and it was a case that you probably could take on about a Class B van. And but I know you get some that are kind of on the bubble, if you will. Give me another example of somebody that goes to your website, rvlemonlaw.com, fills out all the information, and after the review, you got to give them the bad news. We may not be able to help.
Yeah, and we get those from time to time. There's not a lot you can do about it other than take a good hard look at what it is and see what their legal rights are. The quality of the case matters in terms of, is it something we can go in a courtroom on? We're trial attorneys, We don't take these on just to try to settle, and that's all we do. To us, it's important that the case be solid so that if the factory doesn't do what the owner wants, we can take it into a courtroom and we can show that jury what's really going on. If you don't have that, then basically you're sort of blowing smoke, and unfortunately the factories will know it. A recent case that came close to that sort of thing that we had was, there was a travel trailer that had been bought at a Campers Inn. And Campers Inn is a larger chain nowadays and trying to get larger, but they're certainly not the biggest. It's almost like if you buy from a smaller dealer, you might get better service, but not always, because part of the problem is you still got the factory in the picture. Well, this was only a $39,000 RV. And I'll tell you right up front that, in my opinion, if you buy a $39,000 RV, you're not going to get a good one, simply because there's not enough profit in there for them to build them right in the first place. So there's a higher likelihood that you're going to have problems with those. Well, this one had 159 days out of service. Any RV with that much time out of service is probably going to have a good case, and they probably do. They still had defects with it in spite of all the repairs that had gone on. And it was a lot of stuff. There was a bench stabilizer, water heater that wouldn't work, CO2 alarms, and once again, electrical circuit problems. The usual sort of things that a lot of people see with their RVs nowadays. But the problem was, it's only a $39,000 RV. And they were down to the point where the problems that they had left were probably somewhere around $4,000 or $5,000 worth of repairs to have a competent person get out there and get it done. Well, that's not a case that it's worth hiring a lawyer for in most cases, simply because a lot of small claims courts now will get up to $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. And if you've got a solid, good story explaining what's wrong and why morally it's the other guy's fault, so to speak, you can probably get that taken care of in small claims court a whole lot faster than trying to go through regular court. And frankly, probably faster than trying to negotiate on it yourself.
You said it was out of service, and this is in the first year, 159 days. So half of a year, basically, almost half of a year. And these people, do they have to go to small claims court before the warranty period is over? Does that matter? Because that makes total sense. A $39,000 RV, or I don't know what the magic number is, but the less money you spend, getting a lawyer involved, you're just wasting their time and your money. I mean, from the consumer standpoint. So should they have gone to small claims court right away? Do they have to do it like on a warranty claim? How does that work?
Well, they need to file as soon as it's obvious that it's not going to go away. And one way to look at that is remember that expiration of the warranty often triggers the beginning of the last month or two or so before your rights are gone. So from my perspective, if you're going to file any kind of a case, you really need to try to file it within that first year of your warranty or very shortly thereafter. If you're doing your own in small claims court, which you can do when it's a straightforward situation, like here, they only had 4 remaining defect issues, a couple of $1,000s, maybe up to 5. Why get a lawyer? Why not just simply get your act together, go to small claims court, present the evidence, which means all your paperwork, and tell the story, and you will have a small claims court judge decision within a couple of weeks. That's a whole lot faster than the month of arguing that you'll get from the factory or the dealer. And you can sue the dealer or the factory, depending on who's at fault.
That was my question. Which one do I sue? Can you sue both of them at the same time? Can you name both of them as defendants, I guess, at small claims court, or do you have to do them separately?
You can do them both in the same case if that's where it is. And I think that what the owner has to do is think to themselves, who's responsible here? Is the dealer screwing up and it's not really the factory fault? Or is this a problem where the factory has strung it out by not getting the parts shipped there, or not authorizing the repair, or not authorizing the redo of a repair that was done wrong? And if it's both their faults, then fine, sue them both. The worst that happens is you lose against one and you win against the other. But it's kind of like you have to look to see who's at fault. And as a lay person, just an ordinary RV owner, don't think about the law. Think about morality. From a moral perspective, who should have taken care of this? Because a lot of small claims court judges, they know the law, but they apply the moral rights more so than the law in some cases.
You use the word story, putting a story together. And I truly believe that the best story wins. And when someone can articulate themselves with here's what we bought, these were the promises made, and it doesn't need to go on and on, but a nice, effective story. Like you said, judges, I've been to small claims court, and they do look, I think, at the moral side of it. And thinking about that, $5,000 on a small claims court, it may be big for the plaintiff, for the RV owner, but for a manufacturer to send somebody down to Texas or Kentucky or wherever the small claims court, they're going to spend that much in travel expenses. So I would think there'd be a lot of no-shows. They'd have to hire a local lawyer to go and represent them.
I think you're right. You know, I had a case once where I think it was like a $14,000 RV or something. And this was probably a decade ago or so. And it was kind of like, what's the way to get them to answer, to pay attention, and to settle it? Because it's just not worth spending a whole lot of time on. So I sued them also in the municipal court and waived a jury and everything else, because I knew they were not going to come from Indiana to defend that case. But they strung it out for a couple of months, and then they just paid it because they know the same thing. Let me give you some tips for your viewers. Mm-hmm. If you're going to go to small claims court, when you want to tell your story, what you need to do is say a couple of specific things. You need to keep your story to about 5 minutes. No more than that if you can possibly avoid it. Bring all your repair paperwork. Bring your sales contract and your finance contract, because that shows what you paid, which in a small claims court means that's the kind of quality you should have been getting. Mm-hmm. And then what you want to do is say what you bought, make, model, year, why you bought it, family use, we love to go camping, raise my kids camping, you know, got it because we want to go around the country, show the kids the country that I had to work my life for and couldn't go see while I was working. Got grandkids, whatever the story is, why you bought it, and what went wrong. And by that I mean pick out the 2-3 high points, the real reason you're there, the biggest defect that made the biggest inconvenience. Now you're probably going to have others. Don't get into all of them. Hit the 3 or 4 high points and then say, and we had about 15, 20 other problems too, Judge. Then that way you got the biggest points made and you're pointing out that this isn't the only problem you had. And then the fourth thing, tell them what you want. whether you want them to give you back all your money, you're trying to get rid of it, but you know you need about 15,000 more in order to pay off the loan. You just want to make them fix it, but they won't, and you had an estimate, and it's going to cost you about $4,000 out of your pocket from this private repair shop to get it done. Whatever it is, tell them what you want. Because if you don't tell them, the judge is going to scratch his head and say, gosh, I really want to do something for you, but I don't know what I can do because you didn't tell me what you want.
I love that, because most people, we're really good at griping. We're really good at complaining, but we have to say, here's what we want. Here's what I expect. Here's what I'm hoping for. Without that, you're right. The judge is maybe, saying, Mo, this is sad. I feel sorry for these people, but I don't know what to do.
I sat on a small claims court once for a while, and I noticed a lot of people come in and they want to tell you their whole story A to Z. But you got to remember that in that courtroom, the judge is looking to try to get the answer as fast as he can get it so that he can let you have your day and go on to the next one. So you want to tell him everything you can. Respect the right that these judges are busy men. A lot of these, and women, a lot of these small claim judges are part-time. They actually have a law practice they have to go back to. And they don't get paid much for what they're doing there. So you want to spoon feed them with what they need to know to let you win. And then what it is you want when you win.
If you think you may have a lemon RV, find out for free at rvlemonlaw.com. Again, if you think you might have a lemon RV, find out for free at rvlemonlaw.com.